birthday. Hey friends, and welcome back. I'm Tara Swiger, and I am in the Great Smoky Mountains on my way to Asheville. It's my birthday. I'm 40 today, and I just dropped off the baby at his grandparents', and the three bigger girls are at school or educare, and I'm going to Asheville to spend the day by myself. Now, my plans were to go to the North Carolina Arboretum and walk around for a few hours, then go see the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, at like this really great theater that like serves, I'm gonna get roasted Brussels sprouts and like sit in a recliner. I'm so excited, but the weather is not great, so I'm not sure if walking around the Arboretum makes sense, so I'm just gonna drive there. I was also considering stopping off at Weaverville. There's a little bakery. I could sit and read in the bakery, read my book. We're just gonna drive, and so we're gonna have a good day today. I thought I'd bring you along with me to whatever it ends up being. And then after the movie theater, if it's not rainy, I'm gonna walk around downtown Asheville. I'm actually hoping to go to the used bookstore and see if they have a copy of Anne of Green Gables. I'm wearing my Anne of Green Gables shirt. I'd like us to start the Anne of Green Gables read along here in a minute, so we'll see if I can find anything there. That's my plans for the day. Then I'm going back. I'm picking up my baby, getting dinner. I think I want Indian food for dinner. Let's get going. This looks ridiculous. I cannot get my car clip thing to clip. My phone keeps sliding away. Okay, I think I finally got my car thing to work. So $5 at Dollar General, where I also picked up some oatmeal cream pies and a like Starbucks Frappuccino beverage in a jar, which I have not drank for years. I don't know. It's delicious. I don't know why I don't drink it more often. So we're totally hands-free, Mom, so don't worry about me. I wanted to use this time to catch up on a couple things and tell you what is coming up. It's very, very exciting. I feel like after months of being like, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to do something. And I'm feeling very like stuck. Like I wasn't, every time I would get close to moving forward, something would happen. My son's lungs would freak out and I would be in the ER with him, or I would get covered in poison ivy and have to take like a whole week of just like being out of it on steroids and antihistamines, and like literally barely able to function as a human, let alone as like a person online. What changed that is making me feel much more kind of settled in that things are really changing is I came up with the Creative Companions project, co-working, which is going to start this week, and that, like just like coming up with it, writing down the idea, putting it together, and then also the actual what it is, which is 2 hours each week that I will be working on my projects outside of recording video, which is easy enough to do because I can do it in bits and pieces, kind of like I'm doing it now. So the first thing is that I actually put that together. It came together. It is, people bought it, which is a total surprise. I had no idea that people would buy it. And then also the fact that I was just able to like follow through on a project and put it out there. So I talked to my friend Jolie that part of the problem with the past 2 years is I haven't shipped anything in the Seth Godin sense of like put it into the world, like ship it, like call it complete and just like put it out there and see what happens. I haven't done that in so long that I've lost all the confidence around doing it, and I've kind of lost the belief in myself that I'm gonna do it. And so what feels like happens is that I like spin my wheels, and then I like have a crisis of confidence, or don't think something's good enough, or I end up like having to take a week away from it, and when I come back to it, I'm not interested in it anymore. That's been the whole last like 2 years, combined with a lot of like other stuff, like even just figuring out what I wanted to do. And I have to remind myself that I actually have started shipping, because before January of 2022, I wasn't doing anything public other than some Instagram posts, which I used to give myself a lot of credit for. But like what I started doing in January of 2022, is regularly publishing videos on YouTube, which are so much more complex and time intensive and like creatively stimulating than Instagram posts. But for some reason my brain thought like Instagram posts equal you're a productive member of society, but like YouTube videos is like no big deal, just a hobby. And I think that's just an interesting thing to notice. Back when I used to teach the class Wrangle Your Time, we would talk about, one of the first lessons is noticing what your rules are. What are your internal rules for what counts and what doesn't? And for some reason Instagram posts would count, but YouTube videos wouldn't count. That's ridiculous. YouTube videos are so much harder to make than an Instagram post. It's just really interesting to notice that rule and to notice what rules I was having for myself about what counted as shipping, and so what I would like give myself credit for versus beat myself up for not doing. And just like I feel like in the past couple weeks I've like looked a lot at that and been like, oh, this is where I've been, and I don't have to keep those rules. I can accept other rules. Other things can count as productive. And so that shift has been a big one. The second shift is that I started really using my creative companions, like my friends Lindsay and Jolie, who like have bounced off ideas with me for their business. And I've bounced ideas off them for their stuff. With Jolie, it's been for over a decade. Lindsay and I have been friends since we were 18, but she just recently started her own business. I'm going to say 2020 is when we first started working on our VA business. And I say we're working on it because like we're talking about it all the time, and she calls me her business coach, but like it's extremely informal. It's just friendship. Friendship when you're friends with somebody like me who's like, tell me every detail of your business and how are you getting clients and how are you going to work with clients and let's talk about contracts. Like friendship, but like I want to know all the details about your business. So I started using them, like not just telling them some ideas, but being like, hey, I want to do this. And it ends up I'm going to be working with both of them like in a more formal way. What's really guided everything I do is that the knowledge, the personal firsthand experience, that women do not have enough options in this world, that for many people, if they are in an unsafe environment, they can't leave. They don't have the options, the money, the resources, the infrastructure of a society who will give them a freaking business loan or a mortgage on their own. And so money is an individual answer, like you making more money is an individual answer, and I want to see systemic answers, but like in the short term I've like helped people with that individual answer, and that is super motivating to me. So I had to get out my sunglasses because it's getting glary. This is also why I stepped away from helping people build their business. Like I have a whole episode where I talk about, it's probably one of the most recent blog posts or most recent episodes. It's from June 2020, where I talk about why I'm not going to be teaching business any longer. And one of the reasons is that it felt very kind of like with the MLMs, it's not sustainable that you keep giving me money for me to teach you how to build your business. Because if you're not building it, or if you don't have the right product, or if you're not in the right market, or if it's not the right thing, or if you're not really an entrepreneur, then I'm just taking your money. And I don't like it. And the society is telling everyone, have a gig, have a side gig, monetize your hobby. And my thing was always, look, you could build a business from your art. Your art is valuable and worthwhile, and you should be paid for it if you want to be paid for it. But now, especially since the pandemic, the kind of tone of the world has changed. And the gig economy is a thing that's made it so that you just making money from your art is not quite the same as what it was when I started a decade ago and Etsy was brand new. The gig economy has made it so that nobody's really getting paid what they need to be paid per hour, so they have to work so many more hours and they have to collect up a bunch of different hours from a bunch of different places. And I just don't want to be part of that world anymore. So, I have an announcement about that. What if you do want to build a business, a thing that me and a friend are making. It's really, she's doing a lot of the work, but I'm just contributing to it. And so we'll get to that in a little bit. But one of the things I realized is that I'm still an entrepreneur and I still want to have a business. I just don't want my business to be helping other people have businesses. I don't want to be in that echo chamber. So in my business, I can hire people. I can give people money. I can take money from clients who want what I will give them. And we'll talk about what that is probably later today. And then I can distribute that money because I'm not motivated by what's the biggest company I can create for myself. I'm motivated by what are all the options I can give people? How can I create more? How can I use what I'm frankly good at? I'm just going to own it. What I'm good at, which is marketing and business growth, making money and give that money to other people. And one of the easiest ways is to hire them as my employees, but also like business partners, kind of. It's almost like the direct selling method in that I want the people who work with me to benefit when the business benefits. What I loved about doTERRA is that if me and a business partner worked together to help train a new salesperson, that salesperson did well, all three of us did well. And if I did not train a salesperson well, then I didn't do well. I really loved that. And so this goes back to why I feel more confident that I'm actually going to get stuff done in my business, and that's because I'm working with two people. So Jolie is going to be editing the podcast and audio. Hi, Jolie. And Lindsay is going to be my VA, which I'm really calling like a marketing VA right now, because basically she's taking all of the bits and putting them together. So like a YouTube video plus the links plus the words in that blog post, actually making sure my email goes out and that it doesn't have typos in it, because I write my fortnightly email every week or so, and I only send it maybe once a month. Why? Because there's just a lot of other little things that go into finishing it that I don't do. So I'm gonna work with them. We're gonna do it together. Working with them is like giving me, it's like actually making me get stuff done because I want to give it to them, and knowing that I'm like hiring them and paying them fairly, and that then as my business grows, the plan is they're invested in the business in the sense of, if anything ever grows from what I'm doing right now, it will be because I was working with Jolie and Lindsay. So they will make more money as my business makes more money. So I'm not making it just for me and my family, I'm making it for all of us. And this is not to say that like I'm their only client or they need me. Like, this is not a savior kind of thing. This is just, let's grow together. Like, these are people who care about me and I care about them, and we believe in each other. So let's let's grow together. That's it. But I'm going to pull off and look at where I need to be, and then I will be back to talk more. But those are the two things that I really, I just thought of what the third one was. So the reasons I actually feel good about getting stuff done. The thing I didn't mention is I feel good about getting stuff done because I've been on steroids for the past 14 days because of my bad poison ivy. And that always makes me have so much more energy, is what it is I can actually think for so much longer each day, which I realize is not a long-term solution. But then the other reason is because I actually followed through with something, and I've got the Creative Companion thing set up as a structure. And then the next thing is that I'm working with two people that I love, and I can see how our working together is part of the bigger vision I have for what I'm doing in the world. And then the last thing is that I got started on Notions, and I am loving Notions. I need to do a whole thing. Maybe it should be Patreon only. Maybe it should be just a video on YouTube, but I'm really, really loving Notions, and that is giving my life structure and not just all being everywhere. Those are some pretty flowers. Okay, so I am in the beautiful Weaverville, North Carolina. I've got an hour till my movie starts, and it's about 20 minutes away. So I'm gonna stop off here and go into a little bakery, I think. There's also a park that I'm gonna walk around, but it says that it's gonna start raining in 2 minutes. So If it rains, I'll go to the coffee shop. I'm so funny. I have my book, my journal, my knitting. I have editing that I can do on the phone, that I'd love to do on the phone. And just like, oh, and then also working on the podcast episode. I have 20 minutes, but I have 500 things with me because, oh my gosh, I have moments alone. I don't have to work on it. I want to work on it. So this is my time alone. I could do anything I wanted. I want to drink a coffee slowly while it's still hot and think about my work because it feels really good right now. Okay, let's go. By the way, this is the book I'm bringing in with me, Dear Senthuran by Akweki Amezi. And this book is so good. I really, really recommend you read this book if you want to do anything creative in the world. What Akweki says about process and how quickly Akweki writes books is amazing. Just everything in this book is so good. Definitely go get it. Akweki is also the author of Freshwater and Pet, which is a graphic novel I read. I haven't read Freshwater or The Death of Vivek OG. They've had 7 books come out in 4 years. Akweki Amezi is killing it. And this book is giving me life right now. Well, I sat down to say hi, and it immediately started raining. I got a lavender oat milk latte at All Good Coffee, and I'm officially out in the rain. I'm gonna run back to my car. I'm very, very glad I let go of the idea of going to the Arboretum because I just got completely and totally soaked just walking back from getting a coffee. So, I was like, oh, I have these 500 things I could do while I sit and drink my coffee, but instead I went for a walk in the little nature park. It was beautiful, no rain. Decided to go get coffee. Got the coffee, beautiful. Stepped outside. And so the walk to the car completely drenched me. It was maybe a 1-minute walk. Like, I wasn't out in it at all, but it's raining very heavily. So I now have 35 minutes to get to my movie theater that's 25 minutes away, so I should make it. Okay, I'm in downtown Asheville now. I'm totally dried off. Just finished Everything Everywhere All at Once. Such a crazy movie. If you like Scott Pilgrim, it's got that vibe. It's got that like bonkers, so weird, completely amazing, I absolutely love it kind of vibe. But instead of starring like a young teenage white boy, it stars a 60-year-old Asian woman who is kicking butt the entire time. It's Michelle Yeoh from from a million things, but also Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And she gets to do some of that awesome stuff. She gets to be a mom. She gets to be like the real heart of the story is her motherhood, and I cried at the end. It's not like there were bits of it towards the end where I was like, okay, but like I loved it all the way through. And up until the last maybe 15-20 minutes, my mind was like, it definitely feels like you're on something when you watch it. It is bizarre in the best way. One of the things I want to tell you is that as I've been driving, I've been listening to the podcast, the Joe Gardner podcast, specifically the episode Growing Joy. and it's about a new book that is plant care as self-care, and I am so excited about this book. I think it comes out just in the next few days as I'm listening to the podcast, so I'm going to link that book up below, and I'm definitely going to pre-order it. I think that's a perfect birthday book for me. So I have been wanting to reread these books for quite a while, and I've kind of been waiting for spring or summer to reread them. So to me, they're very dreamy summer days. I know there's a scene in which Anne is like loving the flowering trees that she's walking underneath, and they seem so beautiful. So I am going to reread them in the next month or two. And if you would like to join me in reading Anne of Green Gables, please do. I think I'll do a separate video where I'm not in the car and I have my better microphone on that I actually do that. But if you are into reading or rereading the Anne of Green Gables series, there are 7 or 8 books in the series. I'm going to read them over the next couple months, and what I'll do is every week or every 2 to 4 weeks, I'll do a little video talking about the most recent book I read, and we'll see if there's I know that in one of them she makes jam, or she eats a lot of jam, and in another one she bakes some kind of pie. I might do some fun vlog stuff around the Anne of Green Gables books. There's also the Anne with an E series on Netflix that people really love that we could watch. I grew up watching a version, I think it must have been by PBS. They had the DVDs at my library. My current library actually has those DVDs, which is crazy. They're very, very family friendly. My kids are definitely old enough to watch them. I just don't know if they're old enough to be interested in them yet. You know what I mean? Like, they might not find them that interesting. So I'm going to read the books, watch the PBS, and maybe also watch the Netflix, and just chat about it with you guys on the channel. So let me know if you're going to join me in that. This is just for patrons. What I'm going to do next. So this is the dream. Now, it feels crazy to even tell you the dream because the dream still feels so far from being possible. But the dream is that I build gardens and work alongside people as a kind of garden encourager, specifically therapeutic gardens, specifically, like ideally for kids who have been through the foster care system and who are healing from childhood PTSD. So if you've read the book The Body Keeps a Score, or you've heard of that book, that's really what that's about, is childhood PTSD, not one-time events, but ongoing. And there's a lot of studies and information about how being in nature, and specifically gardening, like the tasks of gardening, can be very beneficial to your brain and healing from ongoing trauma. And I think I love the idea of working with people in a real space and time, doing something creative. That's a real career, actually. There's a couple ways, there's a couple different like paths towards that as a career. One, which is what I'm going to pursue hopefully starting this fall, is a college certification program that you take like through there's several universities that offer it, or other organizations, but it's college level courses. And it's called a horticultural therapist certification, and you learn how to use gardening as therapy, biology, and biophilia, which is like our internal love of like nature and natural things, as therapeutic practices, which I think is so fascinating. So I got into like Googling what these programs are and how to become certified and how much would it cost and where could I take it. And then I went into the used bookstore, and there was the book. There was the horticultural therapy book on the shelf for $5, the actual textbook that they use in the class. So to say that I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, that is the last, like, that is the thing that really like made me feel confident in telling you, like, that's my path, that's what I'm doing next. Another kind of way towards this path that I've been looking at that I think I will also do, because you know I love an education, I love to take a class, is the woman who runs Gardenary. Her name is Nicole Johnsey Brooke, I think, or Book. I'll link it up here. I just call her Nicole. Her website for gardeners is called Gardenary, and her program is called the Garden Coach Society. And basically learn how to come alongside people and help them grow what she calls kitchen gardens. So she has a really great process about learning how to be a gardener. First you start with herbs, and you have an herb garden, then you do a greens garden, and then you do a kitchen garden, which is kind of a combination of those things, plus maybe some peppers or tomatoes or something that your family really likes to eat in the kitchen. So it's not like a garden like a homestead. It's not let's grow enough green beans to can, which is as a kid, that's really the way my mom gardened, was like preservation, not homestead, but like just, she would always grow green beans because they're cheap and fast and you can get a lot of like plant matter out of them. But like my family doesn't like green beans, so that's not a very effective kitchen garden plant, whereas something like potatoes that we eat a lot of, or garlic, which we eat a lot of, makes a lot more sense. So Nicole has this like beautiful style. She actually has a book called The Kitchen Garden Revival, and that is the book that convinced me, oh, I want to learn from her, because she has like a method. And so in her Garden Coach Society, you don't just get trained on how to help people as a garden coach. You actually learn her method and you can implement it. So you can install kitchen gardens for people, and she teaches you how to basically be a contractor and work with people to do the installations. It looks extremely thorough. So I'm gonna probably join her program after summer break is over. And then kind of the third piece of all this is, y'all know, I got my start selling eco-friendly yarn. Selling yarn that was sustainable, recycled, fair trade. Like, I did not want to just get cheap yarn. Like, I wanted to either find a local farmer or work with a sustainable source. The banana yarn I made was recycled from saris, or like the cuttings from making saris in India. And all of that I was looking into back in 2006 and 2007. And so there's no way that I want my current business, which is all about being outside and in nature, to be anything except for as sustainable and ecologically sound as it can be. And especially, I mean, in today's world, I don't feel like we have any choice except for to make decisions that will positively impact the world, to be regenerative and not extractive. We are not in a state where we can do anything except the most regenerative choices. I say as I drive my car. But like I feel very passionately about that. So I've been looking into like how can I learn more about it. And really permaculture is the way. There's specifically a permaculture design certification, which teaches you how to think from the top down, from the bottom up, from the like big picture to the small details about the entire process, whatever the process is. So this could be a process for your garden and how you're going to water your garden and what you're going to grow in your garden. It could be a process for how you're going to set up your land and the way your house is going to face so it's ecologically sound. It's really a lot about being effective but being regenerative. So giving back or taking for the ground. It's the kind of stuff that I'm super excited to learn about. I gotta turn on the AC again. So those are the three big areas where I'm going to where I know that I can study and learn from people who can teach me a lot to make up for my total lack of knowledge. The other thing is I'm going to be doing my garden this season, and I also got a spot at the community garden, which you're going to see about in an upcoming video, kind of for my mom, because my mom, she's been helping me in my garden, and she's welcome to do whatever she wants, but she doesn't feel comfortable just doing whatever she wants, whereas with her own garden spot, I was hoping she would feel comfortable going whatever time she wants to go and working on it whenever she wants to work on it, and really just but I'm going to use that space too to test some things out and learn from it and get to know fellow gardeners. I'm also kind of volunteering with some local gardening projects around town to kind of apprentice. They don't know it, but people are going to mentor me. One is a heritage site, historical heritage site, and another is the nature trails and the pollinator gardens there. And then there's a couple older people in town who have posted on Nextdoor that need help gardening, and I was like, sure, why not? If I have a couple hours a week, why not go over to their house and get some practice? Like, it's not landscaping, it's like just gardening. That goes back to what I was talking about earlier with I have I have a level of time and space and privilege that I haven't had before. I'm not motivated to use it to just like immediately figure out how I can like go hard and make as much money as possible. Also because I don't have the brain space for that. Like I'm looking for things I can do that will be learning opportunities that will also give me the permission to like not be on top of things. And if I am volunteering at a historical society's gardens and somebody's telling me what to do, I can just go and do it. I don't have to think of it. You know, so much of my life is being responsible for people and places and things. Nouns. My life was full of me being responsible for nouns, and I need a break from it sometimes. So I was really looking at how can I get this education and experience that I need in order to be effective at what I really like feel like my next step is, while also like not taking on more responsibility. Where can I just show up and be like the servant? Like this is something that you hear in church circles a lot, is like showing up with a servant's heart. I'm kind of looking at doing that as in order to be mentored for the next stage of my business. So I hope that me sharing all that with you was helpful. Maybe you can see ways that it will apply to your next step in business. Maybe it is just like this is how we totally switch careers. Is we have to like stop and readjust and figure out where do we want to go and how do we get to where we want to go. So I'm going to do a podcast episode actually about this topic specifically, which is like how I completely changed careers. I'm going to talk about how I needed the 2 years, not that everybody needs 2 years, but how I used the 2 years to fully stop course and step fully back in order to like redirect my course, and how I would have never thought that's what I needed. I never would have thought that's what I wanted, but how it, like what the actual process looks like now that I'm looking back a little bit on it. And of course, I'm not in the new career yet. I'm still in a major period of transition, and I probably will be for the next few years, because when you start a new business, there's many years of transition. I hope you enjoyed hearing about that as I went about my day in Asheville. Thanks for coming along on the ride with me. Morning. It is the morning after my birthday, and I got a birthday gift that I thought I would show you, and I'll show you what I picked up at the bookstore yesterday when I went shopping, because I realized I never kind of like wrapped that up for you. Something came in the mail while I was out, and that is a lavalier mic. So it's hard to tell because I got a big sticker over it, but this is something I've been waiting for. I'd have it on right now and you'd be able to hear the difference, except that it needs a dongle to attach to my iPhone, which I knew when I bought it, and I have no idea why I didn't add the dongle to the cart. So we're either going to pick a dongle up, how many times can I say dongle, today while we're out, or I'm going to order one. But I'm so excited to use this, see how it improves the sound. So let me include a clip here of me testing this once I get the dongle. Okay, so this is me without the microphone plugged in, and this is me with the microphone plugged in. So this is with the microphone. It's attached here. It's going into my pocket. It's got this clips onto my pocket, which I love, and then it goes into the phone, and I need to adjust the wire because it's kind of pulling on the phone. And then yesterday, while I was in Downtown Books and News, I think is what it's called. It's the used bookstore in downtown Asheville. I found something I've been looking for, which is a guide to the birds. So this is called an instant guide to the birds. My grandma had something very similar when I was little, except for that it was paperback. But this, and I found one similar to what she had, but it just had too much on it. This is super simple. So each page is one bird, and they're organized by where you're likely to see them. Okay, so I've been joined by my guard dog. But this book, the real thing was that it's small. And I love the front has an inscription that says, "To Auntie with love, May 29th, 1992. Isn't that fabulous? So she got it the same week I did, because I picked it up June 3rd and she got it May 29th. And when she got it, I was 10 years old. So almost exactly 30 years later. I was going to say almost exactly 30 years later, but my son just put a Hot Wheels car in my coffee. They're getting crazy here, so I gotta go faster. Other thing I found was books 2, 3, and 4 of the Bantam classic Anne of Green Gables. So we've got Anne of Avonlea, Anne of Windy Poplars, and Anne of the Island. I am so excited about these. I had found books 4, 6, and 8 in this series, so now I have 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. But I love the illustration on number 4. I'm so excited. Okay, so this was just a perfect birthday gift, and they were $2.95 each, which just makes it even better. $3 book. Okay, so that was at the used bookstore. And then I came home to find a gift from a dear friend on my porch in the prettiest bag. And she gave me a coffee mug, which you know I love, but what's extra special about it is it's all banned books. And as you fill it up with hot coffee, the black marks come off, and it's all the titles of books that have been banned over the years. How perfect is that? That is going to be so perfect. We are going to drink out of this in an upcoming video. So Brandon got me the awesome mug, and then she also got me this bag. I like to party, and by party, I mean read books. Isn't that so great? So I'm so happy with this bag. I'm gonna use it at the library, for the mug, for the wonderful birthday. I just thought I would show you a little bit about what I got, and I hope you guys are having an excellent day. I think I actually recorded a goodbye yesterday on my birthday, so let's go to yesterday's birthday, girl. I hope you enjoyed my birthday. Did you enjoy June 3rd? I hope you did. Bye. Around posing for a picture with my broccoli for the thumbnail. It's so amazing. I hope you appreciate this.